Hey guys, Nate with Park Projects here. We're back on the little Ranger today. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this intake manifold back on. Should have done it yesterday when it was nice outside, and I did not. So we're doing it in the dark, and it's not terrible out. But anywho, first thing we're going to do is we're going to lay a couple big fat beads of silicone along the back there. We're going to get our intake manifold gaskets set on there. We'll let that set up for just a minute, and then we'll drop the intake manifold on, start throwing bolts in. Okay, now we got a big fat bead of silicone on there. We got our intake manifold gaskets on. Now we're going to go ahead and drop our intake on. Okay, so when you drop these things on, you want to kind of go as straight down as you can. I used 4 bolts on the 4 corners to kind of line myself up. I did notice these Edelbrock intake gaskets didn't quite want to sit high enough on it. So I kind of had to lift up on the corner of the gasket in order to get it to drop down past the hole. I made sure to goop a little extra silicone in the corners there, so that should take care of that. But now what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of continue putting bolts in. We're going to hand tighten them down just so we know we're getting threaded in. And then we'll get them snug, and then we'll start our torque procedure. Okay, everything is hand tight down. We're going to go ahead and start our torque procedure. We're going to start at 10 foot-pounds. We're going to go to 15, and then as a final torque, we'll probably go to 20. Edelbrock says between 18 and 20. I'm just going to go to 20, I think. So we'll see how I feel, but pretty sure we're just going to send it to 20. So anyway, I'll be back with you after we get done with that. Okay, we got her all torqued down. I normally go through a couple times on my torque settings just to make sure that everything is clicking and we're even. I don't want any movement of the bolt before it clicks. Obviously using a click style torque wrench, but there is a pattern you have to tighten all this stuff down on usually, essentially it's inside out. This particular manifold, it's actually the second row in on either side, and then you bounce to the outsides, and then you come back and do the middle ones. So but I usually go through a couple times, and if I've got any movement of the bolt before it clicks, I go ahead and do it again after that until I get to that point where it doesn't click at all, and then usually I go in reverse, if that makes any sense. So just to make sure I'm fully clicked down. And then also, don't be like me and be a dummy. Leave your rag in your distributor hole so you don't drop something down there like a socket or something like that. And if you're lucky, you can fish it out like I was, and we didn't have to pull the motor apart or pull the timing cover off or something along those lines. But yeah, don't do that. I know better, and I just forgot. So anywho, I do like how these ARP fasteners look on here with the black with the raw aluminum. I think that looks pretty snazzy. I like it. Oh, I still have to do my oil line. I got to seal that, put some Teflon tape on that. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'm probably going to go ahead and stab the distributor. I got engine still set at 10 degrees before top dead center. I'm going to double check it just to be safe. But I didn't move this engine, and I don't think anybody else did. So, but always double check. Ounce of prevention equals a pound of cure, or whatever that old saying is. But anyways, I'm going to be back after that is done. Okay, distributor is stabbed in. These are kind of nice. They've actually got markings under the cap as to where the terminals are on the cap. So I got it down there the best I could, kind of roughly where I wanted number 1 to be. Then I went ahead and rotated the crank until everything slid all the way down in, rotated it back to 10 degrees, and rotated my distributor until it was pointed at one of the marks. That's my number 1. So went ahead and put the number 1 spark plug wire on there, just so that I can't forget. It's physically impossible for me to forget now which one's number 1. think the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start throwing brackets on. Then we'll probably stab the carburetor. I don't know if we're going to get this done tonight because it is getting a little later, and I'm getting a little hungry. I haven't had dinner yet. So, anywho, I'm going to keep plugging on this and see where we get. Okay, yep, that's enough for tonight. So I've got the distributor back in, got the carburetor back on. With the smaller distributor, I can run a full-size air cleaner on there, which is kind of nice. My throttle bracket's a little bit in the way, but it's fine. It's not interfering with anything. I've got good throw on the throttle. No issues there. So I'm going to leave the alternator bracket off for right now. I got to figure something out, make that better, because I don't like that upper radiator hose, and I don't want to put it back together like that. So I got to figure something out. And yeah. So anywho, I'm gonna see if I can find another bracket. I'd prefer not to have to make one, but if it is what it is, that's what it's got to be. So in the meantime, I'm gonna go get dinner, and that's a wrap for tonight.